I'm Eskil and I help people grow their businesses and teach you things you should have been taught since long in school. So why should you listen to me? Well, I've tried everything I will share in this video. So instead of pulling things from my ass, just speak, citing studies and take them as truth, doing this and this and that. I have implemented in my real life, and I will tell you the real takeaways, what actually worked for me, and so you can use it for yourself. So I distill down all the knowledge and experimentation and years of suffering in this video. So this was literally me. I'm not kidding. This was literally me. I followed the guidelines. And eventually I was just like, this didn't serve me. I was fed up with nutritional science, and the more studies, the fucking worse. The more studies on why soy is good, the more shit happened to me, the more copes I had to eat shit like that. But the thing is that one gets so overwhelmed, like there's so much stuff. There's so many people saying, this is good, this is good, this is bad, this is bad. Blah! What the hell should I do? It's so overwhelming. And unfortunately, one needs some experiment. I think experimentation by itself is a good thing, because then by doing that you can eventually optimize. However, the suffering you can save yourself from. I'm not telling you have the answer to everything, but I can tell you that most things that I have read about, and most studies, most guidelines, guidelines around the world, they were not magical. They were not the solutions. They were not good. So I had to go through these experimentations. I had to go through a lot. Like, I was feeling so bad that my hair looked like this. Like I was depressed, man. So the promise with this video, I will expose the common lies that certain companies, certain money companies, certain wheat companies, certain soy companies, sugar companies tend to make. I will teach you the things you no longer needs to be sell the pill. When you no longer need that pill, they lose money. So if they tell you that fat is good, then you don't need the pill anymore. So I make this vow right now. I was in the same boat for over 1 year ago. So I will teach you exactly the lies. The 10, 11 lies that fucked my life over. Perhaps you're stuck just because you follow one of these. So I will tell you exactly. So the 11 big lies. 1, cholesterol is dangerous. About a year ago, I started this carnivore diet. Months later of me, optimizing, doing my experiments and all the stuff, I was granted a blood test, and I was like, yeah, pretty good, because I was wanting to check my testosterone and my nutrients levels, my vitamin levels and stuff like that. Important when you make a huge dietary change. After months of eating a lot of butter, a lot of eggs, a lot of meat, they called my parents that there might be a health issue, a big health issue with this little Escalax guy. So I went to the doctor and whatever, the appointment in the city. And then I could feel, while my mom was driving, she was, I like to shit on her and all that stuff, but she actually cared. Because I could feel in her eyes, in her, like it wasn't the good news, you could say. She knew this, and it wouldn't surprise me if she talked with the doctor beforehand. Um, I went into the doctor, two doctors in fact, and then my spokesperson, or I spoke for myself, but I had a I don't know, I guess it's because I have neurodivergent autism that I need to go to some place it's like therapy in a way. Like, I'm grateful for it. It's good therapy and stuff like that. But there was one of those from that I usually talk with once a month, which was there, and then my parents. And then they went on to talk about they waited a bit. They didn't light the bulb instantly. I don't know why. They tried to see my height and weight and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, and it was in the normal range. It was, in fact, really good. Like, my weight was below. No, not below. It was perfectly. Like, good weight. Like, 65 kilos, whatever. Height, 175 or something like that. And then I went into the medical... the appointment I had. I just took my height and weight before, and then my parents went in, and then the spokesperson or whatever, the one I talked with once a month, went in as well. We were 6 people in total in the room. Eventually we started talking, like introducing ourselves, this cute stuff which we do in grade school as well. Then the bomb eventually came. Are you aware that your LDL cholesterol, which has been associated with heart disease, clogging arteries, all that stuff, is 4.2? Exceeding 2 or 2.2 of LDL and whatever cholesterol it's like max. Like, you should never go that high. It's like the max range. You're sitting at 4.2, 4.4 in cholesterol. Once those words left their mouth, I smiled. I did not cry. I smiled. I had for so long wanting to improve this. Because when I heard this 4.2, I'm like, I doubled my testosterone. I don't know if exactly a double, but I knew this, that the higher cholesterol, the higher testosterone I will get. So I was laughing internally. Why am I crying? I'm not even sad. Like, man, I'm getting too much into these stories. Oh shit. Oh, apologies, guys. So I was laughing internally. Like, the mood was spoiled at the moment of that declaration. And then they said something else. I was deliberating. They're just gonna tell me that I'm gonna die of heart disease again. Like the same shit as always. But then I was changing my mind. They said I had low vitamin D levels. I had like 20, 25. Recommended 50. And that's recommended for the average people. So if you want this high testosterone, if you want to be ultra healthy, then you should be around 100. 100. I was on 20. 20, 25. Not 2025, it was on 20 or 25, something like that, around that. So I was like, perhaps this actually was worth it. I'm like, yeah, I can just ignore what they tell me about cholesterol because I'm not worried at all. But vitamin D, that is a bigger problem. Low vitamin D Vitamin D is associated with bone growth. It's also a hormone, not a vitamin, so it's important for testosterone production as well. So I'm like, oh man, I don't want testosterone. Oh great, my vitamin D is 20. Well, I guess testosterone is tanked. So yeah, in a way it was worth it. But that's such a sad story. So cholesterol is actually, your brain is made up of 80% cholesterol. Cholesterol is an extremely important substance in your body. Testosterone, hormones, and all those things are derived from cholesterol. Saturated fats is the purest nutrients in the wild and nature in this world. Every animal eats 60, 70, 80% cholesterol. Cholesterol is extremely important for all animals. Fat is the most important thing. We talk about proteins functioning in our body. Protein and fat is the two most important thing out there in the wild. Not your oxalates, not your cellulose, your fiber, not your sugar. It's fat and protein. No wonder low cholesterol is associated with earlier death, depression, low testosterone, depression, no drive, fat. So it's like, it's not bad at all, because it's the most nutrients dense thing in our planet. It gives me that testosterone boost. It got my drive and testosterone back, testosterone boost, yeah. And it's the most nutrients dense food I need. I'm on this fat diet. I'm in my primary metabolic state. I'm running on ketones. I'm healthier. I've never been as healthy before. Oh, but in the long term it's gonna kill you. Oh, you might be good in the short term, but long term it's gonna kill me. If my mitochondrial and my cells in my body is healthier, then I will live longer. Mitochondrial damage is the biggest reason we die, right? Yet, when you run on ketones, you have 4 times the mitochondria and 4 times the quality. So 4 times plentiful and 4 times the quality. If you're healthy in the short term, then you will be healthier in the long term as well. Two, balanced diet is key. Balanced diet is shit. Oh, but 20% of toxins, 30% of 20% of fiber, 30% of 30% of fiber, 30% of carbohydrates, 10%, 20% of fat, and then 20% of meat or whatever. You have this even worse, like they say, like 60% fiber and then 20%, 30% carbs and then 10% meat or something stupid like that. Balanced diet is shit. There are plant toxins in plants. I've made a video about it. But there are some plant toxins that literally makes you, anti-nutrients. So if you eat like a protein, a burger with bread, if you eat the bread along with the burger, you won't absorb the proteins from the burger. So there are things that disrupts our hormone production and our nutrients absorption. So balanced diet is shit. So when people say you cannot only eat meat, eat a bit of vegetables. When I eat that damn vegetables, I will get less nutrients from the meat, because the meat is the only thing that gives me nutrients. Oh, but that's extreme. It is. Why? Like, am I extreme to not wanting to eat 100,000 natural occurring pesticides? Am I crazy for that? Am I crazy for not being like a more than fool eating McDonald's 7 times a week? How am I crazy? Yeah, I'm not normal compared to them because the norm is apparently to eat junk food all the time. I already sacrificed norms to be normal. I don't want to be normal, in fact. I want to be better than normal. Am I weird? Am I egotistical? Am I narcissistic to say that I want to be better than normal? I know that I can do something. It's not genetics, it's about what I do. It's about what I put in the system. It's about what I expose myself to. It's about what I do. I am responsible for everything. That is the masculine mindset. You are responsible. Live as if your father were dead. I'm taking responsibility right now. I might feel like eating McDonald's sometimes, but I don't even get cravings anymore. But people might be, but I'm craving, I'm wanting this sugar, I'm wanting this, but it's a legalized drug, for one. Two, I'm taking responsibility. I'm not sitting there eating shit when people are out there dying and people are out there. I have a business to grow and I have people to save. Like, actually, I hate this. I want to share this because I hate it when you eat carnivore, you make good progress, and then doctor says you cannot do this. Like, shit, they're fat, even if they're not fat. Like, they're not as healthy as you. They're not an athlete. You cannot listen to people who are poor. It's the same thing in business, right? You take advice from people who are not where you want to be, then why are you doing that? Take advice from people who are exactly where you want to be. I take advice from the doctors I like. I take advice from the business owners I like, the business guys I like. If you like me, then take advice from me. If you hate me, then don't take advice from me. Huh? And then they always say dose makes the poison. Oh my god. Dose makes the poison. No, it's the poison. Like, oh, but plants are this and this and that. And oh yeah, if you eat too much plants, it's toxic. If you eat too much protein, it's toxic. Oh, the dose makes the poison. Then never specify the dose. Salt. Oh, it's dangerous because eating too much salt is dangerous. How much is too much salt? Is it 2 grams? Is it 2 kilograms per day? Tell me something. This does not help me. Oh, dose makes the poison. Fuck this shit, man. 3. Plants are really good for you. Another damn lie. Oh, fiber is good for our gut microbiome and good for our gut to not get constipation and feel like shit. And plant-based diet, there are all these vitamins our body needs, and it's the healing. It's the Garden of Eden, healing of the gut. It's very good. If you don't eat vegetables, you will get sick. I hear this propaganda, this Western propaganda. Yet they're Inuits, there are Native Americans, they're Hasava, they're these tribes, they start eating plants. They die at 60. You see Native Americans, Aboriginals, they die 20 years quicker than us. Once incorporating a plant-based diet or a plant-inclusive diet. And let me tell you something. Fiber are taxing for the body. Oh, but you will get liver disease if you eat only meat. You will get this. Your liver is getting outworked. You're this and this and that. You eat fiber. And you know what happens when you eat fiber? You shit a lot. That's not a good sign. Because if you shit, your body's trying to get rid of waste products. And the more waste products you have, it's a sign that you're eating crap. So when I am on this meat-based diet, my gut is healthy and I shit like 2 times a week. 2 times a week I go to poo. Not 5 times a day. If you 5 times a day go poo, then it just means that you're eating things that your bodies want to get rid of. Because waste products is something you don't want. And I'll tell you something, not a single animal can break down fiber. Oh, what about cows? They eat only grass and all that stuff. They have they have like these bacterias. They are evolutionary adapted to breaking down grass, and from there it becomes these cholesterol, fat, and protein. Amino acids and fat, that's what we need, every animal needs. And some animals are adapted to eating plants, and by eating plants they can get the thing we get from eating meat, so they get amino acids and fat. They don't get sugar when they eat the plants. They transform into these things. An illness. Weird. You're getting 60 carcinogens. Carcinogens is a cancer promoting liquid. So it's preventing illness. You're getting 60 things that can potentially cause cancer. You're overtaxing your liver. How the hell does this prevent illness? There are people going on carnivore. They haven't been sick. They haven't gotten a big headache. They haven't gotten a flu or whatever in years. I haven't gotten over a year. Like, I used to get like 2-3 times a year. I haven't got a single time this year. Or the last one. And this year is June. So yeah, about a year. Not a single one. But I remember actually having one. Actually, one, that's not true. One. You know when that happened? When I ate this pasta and rice when I coped. So when I started eating a vegetable like a carrot and a spaghetti, that's the moment I actually got sick. 2 days after. Oh, but that's too vague. Perhaps for you, but when you know your body well, you're an athlete, you know when that salt helps you, you know that dehydration is... When you drink more water, you feel amazing in the gym. When you are healthy and athlete, you know more about yourself, not about your body. And I knew that it was a result of me eating those plants. For if you're eating meat, make sure it's lean. That's another lie. And people talk shit about eggs, but meat is the same thing, because it's the saturated fats from animal source they're afraid of, which is the only fat we need, as by the way. But fasting or not eating cholesterol increasing, so not eating ribeyes, fatty meat, or like a thick shuck steak. No, make sure it's sirloin, make sure it's minute steak, make sure it's like roast beef, lean as fuck. Fat is dangerous. We've already talked about cholesterol, so I don't need to speak more about this. So that's a lie, another lie. So they will try to promote. Oh, if they can't get you to eat plants, they will get you to eat lean meat. But if you eat lean meat, then you will feel like shit. Eating only lean meat will make you feel like shit. Like, honestly, I think eating only lean meat is worse than eating some carbs, because your body needs either carbs or fats. If you're not eating enough fat on a carnivore diet, then that's a really big problem, and you miss a lot of nutrients that way as well. But you get more nutrients than eating vegetables, but still, you can make it so much better by eating more fat. 5, chicken and pork is healthier than beef. Like, they say it's healthier to eat. They say it's better for the climate. They urge people eat more pork instead of beef. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Chicken and pork is much better than every single plant you have seen. However, chicken and pork does not have the same nutrients. Muslims, especially in religion, Muslims, they say don't eat pork. Oh, but there are religions saying you should not eat cows in India and all that stuff. Okay, fine. But let's go back to the Muslims. There's actually a reason, I think. There's a reason why they say pork is bad. Oh, but that's on religion. No, it's a reason. You know why? If you know a bit about pigs and, boars, you know that those creatures, they eat almost anything they can come by. And they're monosaccaric. They have one stomach. They don't have this four stomach ruminant system that cows, sheep, and bison and all that stuff have. They have one. So they eat shit, then that will be in the meat as well. So even though pork eats their healthiest diet, okay, that's good. But even though they eat the healthiest diet, they will not be as good as cows, because those cows have four stomach system. They can eat. They eat only grass, so they eat something they're supposed to eat and only eat that, nothing else. So you're making sure, and then their stomach system themselves detoxifies the toxins. So when you eat a grass-fed cow or even a grain-fed cow, you get less of the toxins that you would get if you eat pork and chicken. And chicken is also monogastric. And chicken has less fat. And they say, oh, cholesterol. Chicken has less fat, so you don't get the fat you need. Pork have fat, but also has many of the toxins, and chicken. So chicken has low fat with the toxins. Pork has good fat, but some toxins. So pork, in a way, I would say is better than chicken in a way. But there's some religions saying that pork is bad and stuff like that. So yeah, fine. But I guess if you're eating a pork and with a good diet, and you're eating, pasture raised, really good eggs from your local farm, fine. Make sure you get enough fat though. They'll say they're bad for the climate. Cows are regenerative farming. They eat this grass, they bring nutrients to the soil. They are in a cycle. They are important for the nutrients in the ground and the biodivergence and all those important stuff we talk about all the time in global crisis. Biological diversity and all this stuff. They promote this stuff, cows especially. Oh, but methane gas and this and that. But they promote so much that it might be a bit controversial on a side note, but it's actually the plants and the farms that is nitrogen gas, which is literally a worse effect on our climate than the methane gas. So literally the plants and the farms and the big monocultures is a bigger problem for the climate than the methane gas. And methane gas not only comes from cows, it's these big ass trash. They're trash everywhere. That is the biggest reason methane gas is emitted. So 6. Plant-based diet is healthy. This propaganda mindset. Plants will eliminate all evil in the world. What if everyone ate plant and we'll be fine? People don't understand what happens when you cultivate and do plants. You destroy the soil, the nutrients in the soil. You destroyed the what are they called? Mushrooms and snakes. No, not snakes. They're worms. The deconstructors. So it's not the solution to all evil. It's actually one of the driving force of evil. And our climate is paying for our stupid acts and stupid plant-based propaganda. The solution is not eating a plant-based diet. And the dose makes the poison, another shit they say. That eating too much of everything is bad, so they say eating plant-based diet is good because eating anything anyways will kill you, so eating a bit of plants is good to incorporate in your diet. Weak arguments. There are weak arguments, but there are weak studies as well. But people don't talk about if a study is weak or not, so they only cite, oh look, I've got so many studies. And yes, they're right. There are hundreds of studies showing that plants is better, but they're so vague. They're like these trials. What did you eat the last year? That's like a plant study. You don't have any randomized controlled trials or real good stuff there. And sure, you don't have good studies on the other side as well. That's why I say you need to experiment as well. It's sad that we need to go this far. But if you know biology and evolutionary and all that stuff, you can probably conclude to where you should be. And my conclusion was the meat-based diet. It's what my stomach gets protein and fat from. And it's the only food that I don't feel like shit eating, and the food I feel best eating. And the food that my ancestors ate. And when I'm healthy now, I'm healthy in the long term as well. No shit. Okay, 7. Fiber is good for your gut. Oh, you're gonna get Crohn's disease. You're gonna get all this stuff. I haven't eaten fiber and I've never felt better. You're gonna get constipation without fiber. Well, no. When I ate fiber, I got this constipation. I'm shitting 5 times a day. Diarrhea. I don't have diarrhea ever anymore because I don't eat that shit. I had when I transitioned, but after that transition period, I never had a diarrhea ever again because I don't eat shit anymore. And then they also say that fiber, without it, your stomach can't take care of the bad stuff. You need fiber to not get as bad effect of cholesterol. Blah, blah, blah. Cholesterol is what's good and fiber is what's bad. We don't need to keep arguing about this. We just need to eliminate fiber. Good. 8. Carbohydrates is important fuel for the brain. This is another lie. Carbohydrates are not an essential nutrient. So how the fuck is it important? Like, you need it. It's essential. You will die if you don't eat carbohydrates. I don't eat carbohydrates. Oh, but we do need glucose. If you say, glucose is super dangerous, it's dangerous to eat shit, the carbohydrates that increase in glucose, but our body will naturally create glucose. So yeah, glucose is fuel for the body. But if you eat ketones, like keto diet, any kind of keto diet, carnivore, ketovore, normal keto, but just not eating carbohydrates, your body will be in its optimal state. So you will run on ketones instead of carbohydrates. So when you're healthy, you always run on ketones instead of carbohydrates. And when you run on ketos, interestingly, you have glucose as well in your blood. So yeah, glucose can be important, good. But ketones is what we need. It's what our body runs on. It's at least optimally it runs on. If you're not on the edge of the world all day, feeling like shit. Oh, they say, but you need to refill your glucose, you need a bit of carbohydrates. Shit, you make that in your body anyways. It's when you eat carbohydrates, that's when you get too much of that stuff and your body starts, and it eliminates ketones and that's why people say, but you get ketones after 16 hours of fasting. Well, you get ketones after not eating carbohydrate for 16 hours. Damn. So the health benefits of fasting, most of them you get by not eating carbohydrates. It's that simple. Good. 8. 9. We're omnivores, another lie. Or we are airivores. We survive on air. Or no, we are herbivores. No shit, man, we are not. Oh, we ate these plants and roots in our ancestor days. No, we didn't. No, we did not. Ice Age doesn't exist. The only, or even if it did exist, you get 5 calories. Do you know how much we ran? We needed 7,000 calories a day. The only thing that gave us the calories for the mammoth. Like, you could not survive. Like, sure, you can argue, but it's bad, we can't do this, but you would die. So you couldn't. And we did it for so long that we are now evolutionary supposed to eat that. So perhaps in the beginning we ate these roots and all this stuff and it was good. And that was very long ago. That was before we got to the Homo species, when we're still apes. But we lost that ability. Stomach acidity went down. The only thing we could break down and was worth it were that meats from mammoth, bisons and all that stuff. Oh, but we ate wheat for 12,000 years ago. We ate dairy and we ate that stuff. Yeah, what we did. What did we eat when our brains were at its peak? Neanderthal days or early sapien days. We had an abundance of bisons and high fat, like huge animal with huge fat stores. Huge fat in them. And then when we talk about this, they make a counter argument with that. Yeah, bread and gluten were eaten for thousands of years. That's the only good argument they have, but it's not totally good, because if we go back, we were even healthier back then. And even then, we only ate this stuff when we needed to. We eventually needed to grow gluten, and we did it. We didn't feel like doing it, and then we did it anyways. But then when we started eating it more often, we became addicted to it and then kept going at it. So in the beginning, it was supposed to be a thing because we don't have any more fatty animals, and you cannot live on lean beef. You cannot live on eating lean. You need that fat. That's why you can survive on ribeyes and not like a very lean meat. You need ribeyes to survive. I'm telling you need that, but you need high fat in some kind, like eggs, something with higher fat. But they don't have that high fat, but you need that fat. Oh, we feel best when we eat both vegetables and meat. Bullshit. When we only eat meat, we get all the nutrients and more nutrients. So we get more by eating less, weirdly enough. Sure, we can eat them. We can put whatever thing in our mouth, but it doesn't mean it's optimal. That's a thing you need to get. We need to get 10 carnivores are not sustainable. What if everyone did this, then it would not be hear this argument sometimes. If everyone went carnivore, it wouldn't be sustainable. And this like, oh, but carnivore in the short term, but in 10 years we get cancer and clogged arteries and whatever shit. Can a cow eat grass everywhere as long as it has grass? Yeah, not in the winter perhaps. You have estilage, I don't know, is it called estilage, but you have like this dried grass in the winter because it's really cold, and then all the other times they eat the grass. You just need grass and some place to have the animals in the winter. And in the winter they're also eating grass, but dried grass. If you have grass, you can have a cow there. So how is it not sustainable? I think that the soy plants in the rainforest is a big ass problem. Because one of the biggest reasons why we keep doing it is because of money. And the money, we get a lot of money from these soy plants, right? They get. So the problem with the habitats, natural habitats, ecological niches, all the factors of those animals are... Honestly, it's pretty simple. It's because we destroy natural habitats. We destroy the trees. We destroy the soil. The soil has more nitrogen, more carbon, more nutrients than the trees. Oh, but if we destroy the trees, then carbon stored. It's more stored in the ground. So when you destroy, plow, do all this with the ground, there is when you release it into the air. And this stuff is supposed to be there. You're not supposed to this with oil and coal. It's supposed to be there. It's fossil fuel, it's called. But it needs to be on the ground, because when we release it, it's bad. It's bad when we release nutrients from the soil as well. Oh, it's bad in the long term. If it's good in the short term, there are not many things that's good in the short term. They're good in the long term. Short term, yeah, it's good to exercise in the short term. For the days now, I feel amazing when I exercise. For the days when I eat this diet, I feel amazing. Nice, you're healthier. There are things that are unhealthy that's also unhealthy in the long term. Yeah, these drugs. Yeah, in the short term they're fun, but they're still not good. They're bad in the short term, and they're bad in the long term. Eating a good diet is good in the short term and in the long term. I have yet found a single thing that's really dangerous. Like, sure, there might some drugs, but no drugs are good anyways. But I have yet found a thing you can eat that's good in the short term, that's not good in the long term. Because eating a lot of butter, eating a lot of eggs and meat it's good in the short term, so you feel amazing, and it's good in the long term as well. Nice, I've yet found a thing that's bad in the bad in the long term, but it's good in the short term. I'm yet to find any of that stuff. So just mentioning it is stupid because I haven't even found anything. And sure, perhaps there does exist, but a bigger problem is this. And that we try to, but it's not good in the long term, so I will not do it in the short term. I will not exercise because I will not eat this way because in the long term I can get cancer. Like, that's a much bigger problem, because then we're not actually eating healthy at all, because but it's dumb because all food is bad, so I eat whatever food I want. I just fast for a day and then I eat whatever I feel like. You see, people are not, if people want to go even further, like level up, like balanced diet or good diet is not good enough for us. We need the best diet. So we know the crazy effects it has on us and our business owners, and we wanna fuck our competition, so we need this. 11. Meat is bad for the climate and ethically wrong. Yeah, we'll talk about the climate thingies, but the thing that eating meat causes so much animal suffering and egotistical. Sure, you might cause suffering for an animal, but it's live a good life, and if you give it grass fed, it's healthy its whole life, very good. But if you start eating plants, you start destroying all of rainforest. And we know this biological diversity. 60-70% of the global species are in the rainforest. So we are destroying species, eradicating them. There's so many species that are every day getting new tags. This is it's close to getting to being gone. This and this and that. A big component of this is, of course, the climate change, and the biggest component is we have our damn agriculture thing. So agriculture is, I would say, one of the biggest reasons. Of course, pollutions and other chemicals and toxins we put in the water and all damn things we spray on agriculture, which once again is a result of agriculture. So everything in the end goes back to agriculture. We need this big transport in order to have plants everywhere at the same time. You can't grow certain plants in winter, and you see, many of these problems are because we need to transport this stuff that we didn't even need to begin with. I've covered all the 11 lies. So congratulations, you made it. You managed to listen to my rant for 42 minutes, or 50 minutes plus a story or whatever. I hope things have cleared up in your head. And yes, it's not a very fun topic to talk about. It's so saturated, and there's so many studies, and it's so complex, and the more studies it comes, the more complex it becomes. However, you are now equipped with 11 strong counter-arguments against certain advice. So make the best of the education I gave you here. So as always, good luck and best regards from me.